Good afternoon, Stephen from Alcohol Free Lifestyle. The question is, when do you become an alcoholic? Because I don't know when I became an alcoholic. I drank what I thought was a normal amount when I was young, because most of my friends did the same. A few pints here and there, most nights, more at weekends. Or when I worked shifts, I was in central London, maybe a little bit more then, because it was a little bit more of a party atmosphere in central London, I don't know, but we all drank a bit. Nobody really stood out from the crowd. Maybe drank a bit more or a bit less as I got older, I'm not quite sure, I can't remember. But I always remember having a drink around me or going to a lot of social events, because most social events, there's alcohol there, isn't there? So when do I become an alcoholic? When does anybody become an alcoholic? People will have various thoughts on this, and they'll say it's when you became dependent. But when do you become dependent? Are you dependent when you start to drink more, or when you feel rough and you have a livener, or when something changes in your body? One thing I do know is when you do become an alcoholic, if you actually do want to, you just change a little bit, you feel completely and utterly trapped to the point where you can't get back to where you were before. So it seems like a fine line. There's actually a bit of a giant leap from moderate drinking, heavy drinking, to alcoholism, because you're then dependent on it. But only 10% of people are dependent on it, physically and chemically, which I was of the 10%. There's always in the extreme for some reason in life. But trying to work it out is virtually impossible. But I would say this, it can happen to anyone. And my advice to people who are drinking even steadily is to try a spell off and see how well you feel. Because I wouldn't like anyone to go through what I went through. And I know people who have died because of it. Well, I used to know them, obviously. Sadly, good friends, relatives, colleagues have passed away. Some are in very poor health. One good friend of mine recently had a stroke. Can't walk properly now. He's only the same age as me. Very debilitating. He claims he wasn't an alcoholic. He drank every day that I saw him. People make excuses. I did. If you get a chance, get sober for a few days. I couldn't do it because I did try a couple of times to just stop, and I had seizures. So from then on I was very worried. Then I managed to get to the doctor and they gave me this diazepam, which is basically a Valium, I believe, which can taper you off over a week or so. And that really worked for me. But I relapsed too many times. The longest period off was 8 years, and I relapsed again. Why did I do that? You ask yourself all these questions. Don't look back, always go forward and be positive. But if you are struggling with getting sober, or you are what you think is an alcoholic, let me know when you think you crossed that line, because I really can't put my finger on it. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe. If there's anything you want me to cover in particular, then drop me a comment. And have a lovely day, and I'll speak to you all soon.